Vice Chancellor, Vice Chancellor, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Registrar, Deans, Professors, Directors, Boxer, Librarian, other esteemed members of staff, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to welcome one and all to the third inaugural lecture of this great university. Today's lecture is to be delivered by the foremost Nigerian professor of international relations, a versatile researcher, and university administrator, in addition to being a distinguished scholar in the name of Professor Osita, Agbu. Our lecturer today bears a similar name, a great philosopher, St. Augustine's of Hippo, in present-day Algeria. The old Augustine was the bishop of Hippo from 396 to 430, and emerged as one of the Latin fathers of the Catholic Church and philosophy, and perhaps the most significant Christian thinker after St. Paul. Augustine's adaptation of the classical thought to teachings created a theological system of lasting influence. The new Augustine, Osita, is an international relations philosopher who has been committed to expanding the horizons of knowledge in the field and etching his name in gold on contemporary dynamics and the projection of spaces, places, and places. Today marks the heights in his endeavor, the platform of this university's inaugural lecture series, and reminds us of the vision of the founder, distinguished Senator Dati Baba Abed, to raise a world-class institution where knowledge will be fertilized through the prism of not just students of exists, but also scholars of class. From the Department of International Relations and Diplomacy, Osita will be speaking to us on technology and international relations, backward and forward linkages, on steel development and Nigeria's foreign relations. It is against this background, ladies and gentlemen, that I welcome all on behalf of the Vice Chancellor and the entire management staff to yet another installment of our now famous inaugural lecture. May I now invite the Vice Chancellor, Professor Kathleen Hafo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, for our opening remarks. Professor Ma'am.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the deans, professors, your Royal Highnesses, ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed with great and profound pleasure and also humility that I stand before you to welcome all of you to the third inaugural lecture. Without a long speech, my job is actually to welcome you and tell you how well all your activities. Before I take my seat, I want to remind us of why we are here. It's an opportunity of the researcher and professor to teach us what he has researched and profess it in a way that people will know that he has done a lot of work. One of the other purposes is to let us know that research doesn't end after you become a professor. That it must continue in a continuum where it doesn't end with professor. Another reason why you have an inaugural lecture is to publish the innovation that may have been achieved by you over time. And if possible, commercialize and donate. For the future, the purpose is to let people know that this research work has one value or the other. So it is indeed a very great occasion for us to have an inaugural lecture being delivered by no other person. So I'm asking all of you to listen attentively, see how it's going to affect your life when we are doing. Thank you very much and welcome.
Thank you very much, Vice Chancellor of the University, Mr. Kathleen Hafo. May I now invite the inaugural lecturer, Professor Osita Agbu, to the stage, please, for his citation. Celebrating the distinguished academic journey, citation of Professor Osita Agbu. Augustine Osita Agbu was born in Lagos on the 10th of October 1962 in the family of Mr. and Mrs. Isaac Nwako Agbu of Mwasele village of Onitsha in Anambra State, Nigeria. His primary education was at Inaugural, southeastern Nigeria, where he attended Chinatown Primary School from 1970 to 1974 and Construction Primary School from 1974 to 1975. Secondary education was at the famous St. Gregory's College in Ikoyi, Lagos from 1975 to 1980, where he obtained his West African School certificate in grade 1. Proceeded to the University of Ibadan, where he obtained his first degree in political science in 1985. His academic career continues at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, where he was for a significant period, obtaining a master's degree in international relations in 1988 and his doctorate in 1993 in political science with specialization in international relations. He then joined the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs, NIIA, in Lagos in 1994 after a rigorous interview. He served meritoriously for 23 years until May 9, 2017, receiving the Long Service Award and rising to the position of head of the Department of International Politics. During this period, he rose to become a full professor in 2011 after the internal and external assessment, always a rigorous one. He has served under distinguished personalities like the late legendary Professor George Obilozo, Professor Rafiu Akindele, and of course, Professor Joy Agbu. Professor Agbu also served in the presidency as special assistant to the Principal General Staff Officer in 1997. He voluntarily retired from the services of the Institute in 2017 and joined the young, dynamic, and promising university, Base University Abuja, that is. Since joining Base University, Professor Osita Agbu has served as head of the Department of International Relations and Diplomacy 2017 to 2018, and Dean Faculty of Management and Social Sciences 2018 to 2023. While serving as head of the department, the record has it that his department became one of the first to commence postgraduate studies in the university, MSc in International Relations and Policy. Working with his team, the department introduced 2 new programs, not previously existing in any university in Nigeria: MSc in Intelligence and Global Security, IGS, and MSc in Security, Leadership and Society, SLS. The 2 programs are currently running at the university. Professor Agbu once emerged as one of the most cited authors at Base University, with a total citation record of 1,243, and an H index of 16. All from competition from policy journals across the globe. In reporting this, ladies and gentlemen, to the University Senate, the University Registrar, Professor Jamila Shwara, then the University Director of Academic Planning, DAP, described the record as an enviable height for the university. Congratulations, Prof. Professor Osita has specialization in African-China relations, international relations theory, technology and development, and Nigeria's foreign policy. He has numerous academic publications, totaling over 115, and is the author of Ethnic Militias and the Threat to Democracy in Post-Transition Nigeria, Uppsala. The Nordic African Institute 2004, author West Africa's Troubled Spots and the Imperative for Peacekeeping, Dhaka, Pedestrian 2026, author The Iron and Steel Industry and Nigeria's Industrialization, Exploring Cooperation with Japan, Japan Institute of Developing Economies 2027, editor Elections and Governance in Nigeria's Fourth Republic, Dhaka, Pedestrian 2016, and co-author Cameroon-Nigerian Relations, Trends and Perspective, US Lexicon Books 2022. And by all means, Professor Osita's record is more than enough to produce 3 professors. So we're having 3 or 4 professors combined. Ladies and gentlemen, he has also lectured in several universities in Nigeria, including the University of Nigeria Enugu campus, University of Lagos, MISS program, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Caleb University, Lagos, where he was on sabbatical in 2014. He was also an adjunct professor of the Peace and Conflict Resolution program of the Faculty of the Social Sciences at the National Open University, now from 2012 to 2017 when coordinated preparation of the basic course materials. He was founding editor of the Caleb University Journal of Social and Management Studies, and for several years, editor of the Nigerian Forum and the Nigerian Journal of International Affairs, important journals in the discipline of international relations in Nigeria. So Agbu is a laureate of Governance Institute in the Council for the Development of Social Science Research in Africa, in Dakar, Senegal. A visiting research professor at the Nordic African Institute, Uppsala, Sweden. Visiting fellow of the Institute for Global Dialogue, Johannesburg, South Africa, and senior research fellow of the Institute for Development Economics, Chiba, Japan. He has also been a visiting lecturer at the National Defense College, Abuja, since 2011, and also a visiting lecturer at the National Institute for Security Studies, NISS, Abuja. Professor Agbu is happily married to Jane Francis Agbu, herself a professor of clinical psychology. Together they have 3 children who have passed through Bayes University. Professor Agbu likes singing, good reggae, music, and keeping fit. Vice Chancellor, very distinguished gentlemen, I present to you the 3rd inaugural lecturer of Bayes University, Professor Osita.
Thank you very much, Master of Ceremony, Professor Adeni. Indeed, it is a great honor to see so many faces here who have come to honor me and honor my exertions in the field of academia. Thank you very much for coming. The Chancellor, Chairman, Board of Trustees of Bayes University, Senator Y.D. Babangida, PhD, the Acting Vice Chancellor, Professor Caitlin E. Okako, SAN, the Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration, Dr. Atiku D. Saleh, the Deputy Vice Chancellor IT&R, Dr. Risnan Kaya, the Registrar, Associate Professor Jamila Shuara, the University Librarian, Dr. James Daniel, the Acting Bursar, Mrs. Juliet Omotayo Bature, Deans of Faculties, Directors, Members of Senate, distinguished former inaugural lecturers, distinguished colleagues, academic and non-academic, students of this great university, my Lord spiritual and temporal, my dear family members and friends, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, I will begin my presentation today by please giving your indulgence to allow me to go through my acknowledgements. Whatever I've become today, standing before you on this podium, is as a result of many of the experiences I've had in the past 3 decades to get in here. So please, I give your indulgence to permit me to take you through the acknowledgement section of my presentation. So I wish to seize this opportunity to acknowledge individuals and institutions that made it possible for me to stand before you today to present my academic exertions in this celebrated auditorium of Bayes University, Abuja. This is not a journey that just began yesterday, but took several years, during which I was mentored, guided, and encouraged to continue with my vision and my destiny. I will begin by paying my respect to Dr. Oban Inyam, then of the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, who supervised both my master's and my doctoral projects in the field of technology and international relations. He not only impacted me academically, but also in the company that I came. And this is often what many in academia tend to experience. As impressionable young men and women, the quality and conduct of our teachings Academic advisors and supervisors are most often than not catalysts for good behavior, self-confidence, and self-establishment. I learned from him very early in my interactions that you can be contented, reliable, and have integrity without necessarily professing religious piety or expectations. I learned that choices have consequences and do not necessarily have to do with our attitude about God. From him, if you decide to climb a tall country and get into the very top, decide to remove your hands and legs from the trunk without a vision or a leg to break your fall, you probably fall and die. It is the law of gravity which you are doing. This has nothing to do with God, but the evil choice that you are making. The lesson was to not use God as an excuse to cover your shortcomings. Needless to say, you are a meticulous and serious teacher, and remain not just friends, but family friends in this. I also wish to acknowledge my numerous teachers and mentors from the University of Ibadan, University of Nigeria, and the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs, NIA, where I served in the research department for several years. From the University of Inaugural, I acknowledge the mentorship of the senior professor of political science, Professor Peter, Professor Tunde Adeniran, who was an undergraduate supervisor, Professor OBC Molite, and Professor Penny Okibanjo. At the University of Nigeria, where I had a longer stint from 1988 to 1993, I was much influenced by Professor Emeka Olisa, Professor Asisi Asokide, who was my second doctoral supervisor, and then Dr. Akokamete, who under rain and sun, expected you to be in class without excuses. However, it was at the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs that I won my academic and research skills under the directorship of Professor George Obiezo of blessed memory, Professor George Ogu, Professor Akif Akindele, and Professor Sideze of blessed memory. My respect also to my colleagues of over 2 decades of academic interaction at the Institute, in the persons of late Professor C.N.M. Moke, Professor Bola Kintelera, Professor Cyril Gopi, Professor Kagoche, Professor Charles Obibo, and last but not least, the seminal Professor Adela Lukoshi, who was then the director of research and studies. He gave me the opportunities I needed to break into the African and global academic circles. I was also able to further my research interest in the field of technology policy and international relations, as the institution afforded me opportunities to embark on several research trips to different parts of the world that included Sweden, Russia, South Africa, Japan, China, and India. I also wish to acknowledge the role of the Council for the Development of Social Science Research in African Hemisphere, which is based in Dhaka, for providing a platform for me and many other aspiring African scholars to embrace the social science methodologies. And from the Pan-Africanism and meet with experts in our various areas of specialization. In particular, I say a big thank you to Professor Adelej Nodu and Dr. Edima Salo of Israel, who over the years nurtured several generations of African scholars to become what they are today. My deep appreciation also to my trusted friend and political scientist, late Professor Abubakar Momo of Lagos State University of Europe, former Director General of the Electoral Institute (EEI) in Abuja, for his selfless support, even at the risk of his life, and the unending academic chemistry right up to the door of the Democratic Institute of Israel in 1996. I also wish to recognize and thank Kasuya Nochizuki, then of the Institute of Developing Economies IDB in Shiba, Japan, for his immense assistance during my research tour of Japan, as it enabled me to understand better the evolution of the Japan iron and steel industry. I also see this opportunity to acknowledge the support extended to me by Peace University Abuja, where I have continued with my teaching and research since I voluntarily retired from the services of the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs. This is a unique university that strives to provide the best possible for its students to enable them to acquire knowledge for life and attain great academic heights. The university dares to be different from what obtains in its immediate environment. I thank the Chancellor, Chairman, Board of Trustees of the University, Senator Tati Baba Amin, PhD, the Governing Council and the Acting Vice Chancellor, Professor Pedro Nokafo, SEN, Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration, Dr. Agbu, Deputy Vice Chancellor Research and Innovation, Dr. Rislankaya, and the Registrar, Dr. Jamila Shwara, for his support extended to me. In fact, the University approved for me to embark on research team early in January of 2023 that enabled me to travel abroad and maintain the necessary focus required to engage in serious research without the usual distractions. My thanks also go to all my colleagues and students of the Faculty of Management and Social Sciences, where I served as dean from 2018 to 2022, and the Department of International Relations at the State University for the various academic interactions, support, and cooperation, without which I would not have attained my various academic objectives. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, finally, while engaged in this very demanding but immensely satisfying career in academia, I cannot but proclaim on this revered platform how lucky I am to have been blessed with this very supportive companion, my wife of 26 years. Jane Frances Ojadelia Agbu Onukuba, herself a professor of clinical psychology at the National University of Nigeria. She has been a solid rock, superintending over the family and pursuing her career at the same time, while I'm engaged with my selfish academic and administrative duties. We are blessed with three wonderful children, Chinedu, Onyeka, and Isabel, who by God's grace have not made my life any more complicated than it should be, by being such wonderful children that any parent should be proud of. I thank them for the tranquility in the family. Thank you very much, and the various successes that have been achieved. Thank you for bearing with me on that journey. For every success and for every failure, there is a story. Thank you very much. Now, I will now go to my presentation for today. Thank you very much, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. So this is what I want to share with you today. I've been much interested in the linkage between technology and international relations and the strength of nations, because technology is power. If you just look around, you see that those countries that we say are industrialized, and often we want to go there, or our children want to get there, it's because they have been able to put certain infrastructure in place as a result of the power of technology, of which we are still learning. So this has been a topic of immense interest to me in the past 30 years, and I've been following the developments in the country. So I'm speaking on technology and international relations, the backward and the forward linkages in state development and Nigeria's foreign relations. This is my outline. A rather long preamble. Visions of youth. Linkage between technology and international relations. The Nigerian state as it is, technology and state development, and the management of domestic and external linkages, the conclusion and the way forward. We are all familiar with the adage that technology is the bedrock of human civilization. It's the basis for industrialization. It's a means of creating wealth and often is directly related to a people's culture. If you check some of the cultures that we have in Africa, you see that it is directly related to the kind of things they do on a daily basis. The economic activities, the technological activities. Farming has its own implement, nomadic lifestyle has its own culture and its own implements, etc., etc. That is how human civilization grows. Technology grows with civilization. In the realm of foreign relations, we know that respect and recognition in the international community are generally based on what is either you are influential or you have affluence, and it's a function of power and power relations. And influence is often derived from having greater persuasive or coercive power, while affluence is generated through economic power, mainly powered by trade, and trade itself oftentimes is powered by technology. Underlying this, of course, is technology, as I've said, throughout history, it has played a very significant role in relations between states. It increases options that are available to policymakers generally in the pursuit of the national interest, but at the same time, technology tends to complicate their decision making. Ironically, technology increases the options I've said and also complicates it. And the question of whether and how much technological change has influenced international relations has been the subject of considerable debate among scholars. We can generally opine that technology is a critical input in foreign policy and vice versa, because technology influences foreign policy and also foreign policy influences technology. Technology enables man to gain better understanding of the environment and therefore enjoy a higher standard of living and civilization. The basic definition of technology is that it is about the application of knowledge and skills to seeking solutions to problems in the society. So you have science, you have the experimentation, etc. We also have technology that leads to the application of the knowledge and the skills. Over time, we are going to see that certain skills become identified with certain countries. United States, France, very good in the manufacture of airplanes. Japan, manufacture of durable automobiles, we all like to produce Japanese cars. And expertise in microelectronics. China has prowess in several manufactured products, especially electrical and electronic machinery. Funnily enough, oftentimes, I'm sure some of us that are sitting there are going to ask what is the link between technology, international relations, or even politics. But it is clear that technology is infused with politics, and politics is infused with technology. Oftentimes, our colleagues in the sciences tend to forget this. You do pure science, you forget that the pure science is taking place within the society. And that is why we have sub-disciplines like science, technology, and society, science, technology, and politics, science, technology, and development. So science cannot be on its own standing alone. It has to be imbued, enmeshed within the society and the civilization of the society. Okay, so for example, today we're enjoying satellite television, mobile communications, and internet. Obviously, this shape political life. So you cannot remove politics from technology. Technological revolutions in transportation, supersonic jets, communication technologies is drawing what? Is drawing global politics towards what? Greater integration. Greater integration. We say it's a global village. So something is happening, and it's as a result again of technology impacting on society. Technology is power, and therefore fundamental to some of the countries maintaining global hegemony. Again, that is politics. That is politics. Drone warfare, the way it is today, whether the ethical or the non-ethical use of drone warfare, including what they call swarm drone technology, very dangerous. Possession and development of nuclear weapons is political. Television, video conferences, propaganda, and consolidation of power. Consolidation is powered by the internet, YouTube, Facebook, X, etc. They are all engaged with politics, which is encapsulated in international relations. So there's absolutely no doubt that there's a link between technology, politics, and society. This is my area of specialization, of which I've labored with for over 3 decades till today. So revolutions, yes, the political thing, like the Arab Spring, although political was what? It was energized by internet technology, through the use of the social media. That's why it was able to mobilize so many people in a short period of time, and the revolution spread all through North Africa and part of the Middle East. It's political, but it's powered by technology. Now, coming back a little bit back home, after over 63 years of political independence, Nigeria as a country is still likely dependent on foreign countries for her technological and industrial needs. Now, this is a problem for us. Therefore, our development is still grossly low in terms of productivity. Nigeria is technologically weak. How is she weak? We cannot produce capital goods such as tractors, lathe machines, drilling machines, cars. Yes, you can assemble some cars, trained, other equipment, you cannot do that easily. We are unable to independently exploit our natural resources. We are still unable largely to mechanize our agriculture with our farmers, many of our farmers still using good implements in that sector. We are still exporting largely raw materials to other countries instead of finished products. We are still unable, of course, for those in the military to produce core military hardware with which to defend ourselves if the need arises. So we are technologically. And the thing that should have made us to industrialize and be technologically strong is having very serious problems. You cannot industrialize without the iron and steel industry, and we're having serious problems with our iron and steel development. So we keep importing, and we keep losing our good hands to that sector. So this has led me to the importance of iron and steel for any country that really wants to industrialize. You can see that the march of civilization and the march of industrialization can be linked with the various revolutions that we have had, the various industrial revolutions. This is just a summary of them. First industrial revolution in that period, mid-18th to early 19th century, happened in Europe, in Great Britain, in Belgium, in Germany, in France. What was that? The discovery of iron and steel made it possible for Europe to be the industrialization center of the world at that period in time. The second industrial revolution, invention of the internal combustion engine, all iron and steel business. The third industrial revolution, electric engine, but extended also to manufacturing of goods such as heavy chemicals, automobiles, and durable consumption goods and services. I think today we are in the fourth industrial revolution, with some countries aspiring to the fifth industrial revolution. We are still in the fourth industrial revolution, 1952, the advancement in manufacturing of synthetic materials, information and communication technologies, especially beginning from the Southeast Asian countries of Japan, China, and Hong Kong. Fifth industrial revolution, what is it leading us to? It wants to lead us to the linkage between technology and people. Issues of sustainability, human-centeredness, and issues of the use of technology and the environment, being championed by the European Union, also by Germany, and also by Japan. This lecture therefore advocates an understanding and an embrace of the very important factor of technology in development in the development equation and the relationship to interactions among states, with focus on the development of the iron and steel industry. So for Nigeria, the focus is on the Agbu steel project, an integrated steel project that is supposed to feed into the industrialization process in Nigeria. What do we have? Sorry, I know that the lamentations about Nigeria is much. It's much, but we don't have any option but to do that. It's unfortunate for those of us that are Nigerians. Nigeria is a dysfunctional state. It is a dysfunctional state. And we can see that in different sectors of our economy. It is a dysfunctional state. Yes, a colonial creation, but nothing said that it should not have come out of that colonial influence. But because of our behavior and our attitude to developmental issues, purely for primordialist and selfish prisons, that has kept us where we are today in Nigeria. So Nigeria is a dysfunctional state, often characterized by poor planning, policy somersaults, corruption in high and low places, poor accountability in public office, mismanagement of resources, and very recently, deeply flawed elections. And the irony is that when it happens, we make noise for a little period of time and everybody relaxes again. Deeply flawed elections cannot make for development. These are characteristics of a dysfunctional state. Absolutely no doubt that Nigeria needs transforming. But the problem is by who? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm standing there before you, I'm doing my bit. Some people will not even be able to say what I'm telling you today, for all sorts of funny reasons. But I'm standing here before you and I'm calling your attention to the state of Nigeria and the need that the imperative that something needs to be done. I cannot be an engineer, I cannot be a politician. I'm an academic, so I do my work as an academic. If I want to be a politician, I will drop my academia and I will go and join them in politics. Don't forget that our former minister who says if you are this, you do this. If you're a mechanic, you mechanic well. If you are a driver, you drive well. Whatever. But contribute your own quota as the case may be. What do we need? Transformational leadership. We do not have this. We have leaders, yes. Leaders who tend to manipulate and meander and try to satisfy all kinds of sentiments. At the end of the day, we don't make progress. In the mode of Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana, we need leaders in the mode of Sekuturo of Guinea, Abdel Nasser of Egypt, and the man in Mozambique, I've forgotten his name. We need such leaders in this country. Transformational leaders to handle the immense human and material resources that are available in the country. Transformational leaders, what is it all about? Integrity, accountability, ownership in a manner that does what? Inspires and encourages. Leaders should be able to inspire and encourage. It's not marking time. You are not there. We didn't put you there to be marking time. You should be able to inspire and encourage the citizens to do what? Embrace a culture of rationality, not primordialism and not sentiments. And so that you can be able to achieve collective development. Transformational leaders in this context are therefore change agents, able to interrogate and debunk unprogressive beliefs and practices and identify trends in technology that can be of help to society to achieve fundamental changes for the common good. That is what we want in this country. The system has not produced such people for us. Well, this is just a summation of the tangent of what I want to say. And from a purely theoretical perspective, anchoring it on the character of the Nigerian state, which I said is dysfunctional, and also on the dynamics of the global political economy, basically. Very interesting quotations you see up there. As a young student, or the postgraduate student, when I was writing my doctoral thesis, I was as troubled about Nigeria 30 years ago as I am troubled today. So, upon commencing my doctoral work in the same field of science and technology, I came up with that position that our society is in chaos. We cannot afford the pleasure of human sleep. We cannot be sleeping when things are not working well. In advanced industrialized countries, they don't sleep when they need to meet certain targets. As we are talking now, some countries are exploring all sorts of things in space. As they are using themselves, and Russia is fighting the United States, and the United States are just fighting Russia. Their astronauts are in the same place, isn't it? In orbit at the International Space Station, carrying out research while we are sleeping. So, for me, very early in my academia, I was inspired from the adage of historically the best philosopher Aristotle that political science is the master science. Supported by the writings of Kwame Nkrumah, the late president of Ghana, who went on to reinterpret the master fixation economics when he advised that the political kingdom and all else in the handle of community. You know, Marxist economics is telling that economics is fundamental to everything. I was there Cannot. Beyond the visions of youth, therefore, of becoming an agent of transformational leadership through the military institutions. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, don't laugh. I wanted to enter the military, not be in academia. Yes. I'm not just military combatant. I know some of the military officers say I'll be laughing. You know, that's what I wanted to do. Unfortunately, an injury prevented me from going to the NTA. And then I decided to stay put with academia and see what I can do with it. Because I didn't like what was happening. But if I was blessed that I didn't go to the military, I would not have survived. I would not have. No. For those of us who were born at the years when we were having several coup d'etats, I would not have survived one of those schools. I put it to you. At least one of them would have caught me. Yes. Okay. So, and against the backdrop of a troubled country and continent undergoing simultaneous developmental crises, I decided that I had other ways to contribute to society through academia. My dream, like I mentioned, was actualized through the advice and mentorship of two individuals, Dr. Gigi Tabansi, who was then the Dean of Student Affairs at the University of Nigeria, and Dr. Wanobaninya, two of them at the University of Nigeria. They led me to stay put in the university and continue my master's program. I didn't read political science by chance, I read it by choice. Because I wanted to use it to go into society to do something and to understand the intricacies of leadership in society. That was why I read political science. So if I may continue with the visions of youth, I very quickly understood the importance of the subject matter of science and technology and its need to development, which I quickly discovered was rather understudied. It was understudied in the social sciences. It was often left for the sciences, in economics, etc., but not necessarily in political science and other humanities. So, ladies and gentlemen, 30 years down the line, I discovered that I have written and published extensively on this subject matter. And today, what do we have? Dimensions of this thinking is simply mind-boggling. The arrival of ICT, robotics, blockchain technology, and artificial intelligence. At the end of the day, we find out that politics underlies many of these images, which we think is purely a scientific and technological issue. Therefore, a key science and technology subsector that has consumed a lot of my time is the importance of the iron and steel industry, and some of my publications are related, which you see in the booklet. What was I trying to do? I sought to distill lessons of best practices from case studies of countries like Russia. That is why I went to Russia. Like Japan. That is why I went to Japan. Like India. That is why I went to India. These countries are powerhouses in the production of iron and steel. They are not the best part of the best part in the world. We are seeing the definition of technologies. I will see that particular segment. You can just give it. So the point is to note really is here that not only do science and technology have a critical influence on international affairs, science and technology is also influenced by international affairs, both directly and indirectly. Often the interdependence of science, technology, and international affairs is expressed in different words, really, and in different ways in different disciplines. They do not exactly mirror, but from the perspective of that particular discipline. Still trying to understand the linkage between technology and international relations. You can see that the linkages become visible when you address some of these areas that I've highlighted. Technological innovation, what does it do? It enables people to do new things. Example, development of nuclear weapons and intercontinental ballistic missiles, it changed the nature of warfare and of geopolitics. So technology again is leading to politics. Technological diffusion also affects international relations, for example, the offshoring of manufacturing and service industries, and therefore, through the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction, becomes political or this technological diffusion. Technological competition among states, arms races, nuclear races, space races, you can see the linkages. Fourth, The development of the capacity to manage technology and to carry out technological innovation, whether in a firm, in a region, or a nation, this capacity is affected by a broad range of economic, political, social, and cultural variables generally. So we can begin to see the linkages in the relationship between technology and international relations. We handle that and then we see the direct effects. Even the climate of public opinion can affect the strength of public support for financing of scientific and technological issues. The climate of public opinion can affect that. Second, foreign policy objectives directly affect national priorities, agenda, and related budget allocations. So even budget allocations for scientific and technological research is affected by what? Is affected by foreign policy and the various priorities. Then the state of relations among countries also affects, for example, the international migration of scientists and engineers. It's political. Some countries don't want you to come. You have visa restrictions for you. People cannot come. You can see that their freedom to communicate, enroll even in some universities will not allow you, and teach in schools or universities outside of their own countries. There are some countries that you want to send your children there to study, you will never give them the course that you want. You will never place them in the program that you want. You will give them some other program. Why is that so? Okay. So fourth, international agreements, of course, in the guise of intellectual property, for example, is also part and parcel of this relationship between technology and the relations of states with respect to issues of technology and development. The indirect effects are there. Let me not delete all that. You can see this. Just to note on the third entry there, purely from a theoretical perspective, we have several perspectives to understand the linkage between technology and international relations. When you talk about power politics, when you talk about technology determinism, there is the social construction of technology, systems of behavior and the role of actors, change agents, change and innovation, character of the global political economy, and the gender dimensions of technology are all encapsulated and have been captured in all the citations that I have provided. So these various perspectives notwithstanding, the bottom line is that it is possible to summarize that while technology serves as one of the key factors in the attainment of foreign policy goals, foreign policy also serves to enhance technology development. Very intricate relationship, sometimes not difficult to understand. Okay, I come back to my dear country, Nigeria, which is our point of reference. I've talked about the character of the Nigerian state. This character of the Nigerian state, you can also talk about the dominant elite. The dominant elite. You know, the dominant elite, they are different from the ruling elite. I think you understand. The ruling elite, they come and go. Sometimes, even when they go, they are very poor. They just come, do their work and go. But you see, the dominant elite, they are the ones you should fear. They don't have to be head of state. They don't even have to be governor. But they influence everything that happens in that state. And they influence everything that happens in the country. Even the goods that will be banned from being imported or exported, so they can get their own business. That is the dominant elite. Those are the ones you should fear. Those are the ones that really undermine national policies for their own selfish interests. So that is the character of Nigeria state. It allows that kind of elite and the inability of the state to efficiently manage our resources. So in a sense, this helps to explain the slopes of technology development in Nigeria. That's a bit of the statistics. We're only spending 0.14% of our GDP on R&D as at 2022. Shows a lack of skill. Many other countries, even developing countries, are doing 3% and above. We bought over 17 million tons of steel and allied products, which is over 1 trillion naira. So the point is that without arms and steel, Nigeria cannot effectively defend or protect our national interests and pursue an effective foreign policy. Unfortunately, we have all these states, all these centers, and still we are very technologically weak. And our industrialization, manufacturing is contributing only about 25% of GDP. But we have 70 research and development institutes and centers, 25 colleges of agriculture. I'm sure there are over 170 functional universities now, with about 70 faculties offering science, engineering, technology, and steel. We cannot run an iron and steel plant. See, Nigeria post to meet manufacturing base, which I have mentioned. We have all this in the country as far back as 1996. The Raw Materials Research and Development Center had carried out their research around the country and discovered all these minerals and all these estimates. Some of these minerals are the minerals you need in the iron and steel industry, like limestone, like iron ore, and clay. We have coal, but our coal is not good enough. It's part of the problem of the iron and steel industry. So we have coal, the coal has a lot of ash and sulfur content. It's not good. What we need is hard coal, which they call what? Coking coal. So we need to import coking coal to blend with the local variety for us to be able to use it in the blast furnace. So we need to import. And the location of Ajaokuta is not very ideal for that. So there are many other factors that play into the project being comatose the way it is. So I'll come to that later when I come to Ajaokuta proper. So Nigerian steel industry is yet to achieve the level where it can support industrialization. Basically, it's part of all that we have. So the iron and steel industry is perhaps the most important element of the nation's industrial economic infrastructure. Consumption of steel per capita of a population is indicative of the index of industrialization. Unfortunately for us, it's only 10 kg per capita in Nigeria. So for each one of us, we're only utilizing like 10 kg. In other countries, it's much, much higher because they have a higher level of industrialization. And of course, you can see some of the superpowers in the world and what they do with their coal, which is very important in the production of iron and steel. Selected top steel producing countries in the world. So you can see them again. China is leading. See the tonnage it is producing. Over 1 billion, followed by India with 118.2. Japan follows, United States others, and then down here, very interestingly, Iran. You see why Iran is a problem. Any country that can produce iron and steel can do this industrialization and can develop this what do you call military industrial complex. That is why some are not very comfortable with Iran. They can produce their own iron and steel. We cannot. Basically, Egypt and South Africa. Now we go to the companies themselves that produce steel. Look at the first 10. China, the Group, ArcelorMittal, Anstel Group. First is China. The other one, number 2 is India. Number 3 is China. Number 4 is Japan. Number 5 is China. POSCO is South Korea, etc., etc. These are the strong countries in the world. So the production of iron and steel is directly related to the level of industrialization and influence in the international system. That's the point. I can't see any Nigerian iron and steel company here. Of course. Okay. So at least 50, up to 50 companies producing steel in the world by rating. So many of us are novices in this field, except for the engineers that are here. And this is, sorry for those who are in international relations. I know some of my students are here. Some of my postgraduate students are here. Many people like to read international relations. You see, international relations is an omnibus discipline. You need to have the knowledge of many things. You are not straight-jacketed. You must have an open mind to embrace knowledge. As a matter of fact, I am beginning to suspect over the years of being in academia that knowledge is one. Like the old philosophers used to. You know, they used to study everything. Maths, economics, they will study the movement of the stars. One person will know everything. It's the time that we started to organize the disciplines. Yes, I'm in international relations, but yes, for me to speak authoritatively on the iron and steel industry in Nigeria, I have to understand steel making. I need to understand steel making. I don't have to be an engineer to do that. So what it is all about? It is a capital-intensive venture. Requires careful planning and execution, devoid of sentiments. We allow sentiments to sit into us because of the character of the state. ASTL is designed to use the basic oxygen steel making process, but unfortunately became an example of poor planning implementation underlined by other considerations that were not necessarily economic. Politics of the location. Initially, the suggestion was that this steel project should be started in either Warri or where? Or Onitsha. Places that are close to the what? To the coast. Because of the heavy input of raw materials and the movement of heavy products out of the country. That is part of the problem because we are unable to get the raw materials to Ajaokuta easily. We need to construct rail lines to move the heavy things that we're going to import to Ajaokuta. Yes, there's a bit of iron ore in the market, but that's not enough to have started at Ajaokuta. Ajaokuta was a virgin land. There was nothing there. You know the implication of that? It means you have to spend more money to develop the virgin land. Whereas if it was in any of the towns that were on the coast, the infrastructure is already there, so you don't have to spend so much. So we spend so much. When they decide that Ajaokuta has consumed a lot of money, most of it were on infrastructure outlay. That's what happened. And to be able to complete it, we still have to spend more on infrastructure to be able to get those raw materials to Ajaokuta. The importance of steel for industrialization and development cannot therefore be overemphasized. What do we use iron steel for? Oh, construction of homes, schools, hospitals, bridges, cars, trucks, floating production of offshore vessels, petroleum tankers, tank farms, power transmission. Without this, you cannot industrialize. How do you grow? You can't take all this. So, steel is integral, is an integral ingredient for energy transition, even in present times that we use solar. With solar panels, wind turbines, dams and electric vehicles, all depends on it to varying degrees. I'm coming now to the picture of the steel making process. There are two major ways, there are other ways of making steel, but these are the two major ways. What are the two major ways? Basic oxygen steel making, which is what Ajaokuta is using. The other one is electric arc steel making, which is what is used in Delta Steel at Abacha. Because it uses gas to fire the furnace. Because it's close to the source. It's close to the source. So it uses gas. That's why it's at Abacha. The other one is the basic oxygen steel. It uses coking coal and iron ore fired in the blast furnace to produce steel. This is the diagram of the basic steel making process. The important thing is to look at it from the top and then very easily understand it. Raw materials, liquids, and preparation. Iron ore, limestone, coal. For those using the electric arc steel making, we're going to use scrap metal, not iron ore, but scrap metal. The center plant, there you prepare the materials. In the center plant, you make iron first before you make steel. So the most important part of the steel business is the blast furnace. That is where you fire the iron ore and you fire the coal. Before it comes out, and before you send it to the basic oxygen furnace, where oxygen is fed into the system, and then it comes out as ladle, and then through continuous casting, what happens? Through continuous casting, you get finished products, semi-finished products like blooms and billets. These are heavy sections of iron. 4 billets make 1 bloom. Has anybody seen bloom before here? It's so heavy. So heavy, you can't lift it. So imagine when you're trying to lift this and send it to another part of the country, to the rolling mills. And the way our steel industry had been designed was that it's Ajaokuta that will feed the billets and the blooms to the rolling mills so that they can be rolled. And how do you move it when they are so heavy? Because of the location of Ajaokuta. Okay, so you produce blooms and billets, you heat it again, hot rolling, you now begin to get products, long products, rods and bars that we use for building, sections that we use for rail lines, etc. Tubes that we use in various industries, and then light edge and decking that you have. The same thing coming from the electric arc furnace, we also produce all this. So this is the basic principle underlying the production of steel. Globally, these are the two most important processes. There are others, new ways of doing it, but these are the two basic ways of doing it. Now, let's go to fundamentally to the evolution or the effort at growing our iron and steel industry. This is where the Soviet Union came in. Now we call them the Russians. The federal government of Nigeria established the Nigerian Steel Development Agency, NSD, in 1971. Shortly after, we approached the Soviet Union to assist us with preliminary study of feedstock, quality, and quantity of the raw materials that are available in the country. Why did we do that? Because the West refused to help us. Remember that this was at the height of the what? Cold War politics. The West didn't want us to have an iron and steel industry. They frustrated it as much as they could. So we had to go to the Soviet Union for assistance, and they agreed to help us. So the site of the plant, I mentioned that, is the result of political preference of the military elites then, who, against the backdrop of Nigerian civil war, were sensitive to the likely location of this project. So we can't take that away. To streamline activities in the iron and steel industry, the Nigerian government further enacted the Nigerian National Steel Council Act of 1979, which spells out Nigerian steel development strategy. And the strategy later manifested in all these companies that you see under. But the most important part of this slide is slide number 4, that in 1979, Nigeria was able to sign a firm contract, which we call the global contract, between her and the then Soviet Union, with a company represented known as Tachcom Export of the Soviet Union, for the preparation of the working drawings, the supply and direction of equipment, structures and materials, and the training of personnel. So the training of personnel was also included in the global contract. And let me give you a bit of an idea of the politics of the thing. Since the West didn't want us to have iron and steel, they insisted, well, if you want to go ahead, you go ahead, but you must allow us to do the civil works. You know the civil works, the foundation, the cement works, the earth moving thing, etc. So Nigeria had to allow Western companies to do that. Which are these companies? Julius Berger and Bilfinger, Dumes, yes, Dumes, and one other company. And then Paxicon of India were the consultants. And this is where the politics came in and the Cold War thing came in. The people doing the civil works, they consciously delayed the effort at building the foundations and whatever they needed. Because if they don't do the foundation, the Russians or the Soviets will not be able to put the mechanical structure on top of it, which they had imported already from the Soviet Union. So they imported all these iron materials and etc., kept it in the open while they were waiting for the civil works to be completed. And then the civil work is saying that we are owing them, and so the project was now characterized by cost overrun because they kept modifying the prices of that. So at the end of the day, it was just Cold War that stalled the early completion of that particular plant. Okay, so we had the National Steel Council Act. It heralded the dissolution of the NSDA and gave birth to these companies. We know where they are, and we know that many of them today they are not working well. Some of them are privatized, and they are still not working well. And this is very important. The Nigerian Iron Ore Mining Company, which is at Itake, we have large deposits of iron ore at Itake. So this company is supposed to help us to mine because that is what will feed the Agbu steel plant. We have some stockpiles, but they are not enough. You know why they are not enough? The engineers here know why. Once you fire the blast furnace in the basic oxygen process, it cannot stop working for at least 10 years. You must continuously feed it with raw materials, iron ore and cooking coal. It can't stop for 10 years. So we can't even begin to fire Agbu unless we are sure that you have those materials on the ground. There must be stockpile on the ground able to do that. Other countries that have iron and steel industry, that is what they do. The plant you have at Agbu is replicated in some other countries and they are functioning. They are functioning. It's duplicated in India. The Bokaro plant is duplicated in Pakistan, and they are all working. And the funny side of it is that when we try to privatize it at a point, we've tried several companies, we even tried India company, Ispat Group, under the Metal Group. Unfortunately, when they came there, you know what they did? They were accused of scavenging what we had on the ground in the plant and then taking it to India. Because we have the same plant in India. That was the problem. Of course, they cannot be able to do that if our people were not also involved in that. That is the corruption. That is the dysfunctionality of the Nigerian state. Ladies and gentlemen, it sits on about 24,000 hectares of land. Over the years, I have been tracking this project. And the estimated amount you have spent is supposed to have been about $8 billion. This is why the government does not want to cancel this. But then, our engineers on the ground will tell you that it's not really up to what? $8 billion. That is more like $5 billion. So we start to wonder what happened to the remaining $3 billion. It appears that can be explained by corruption. I've been told that sometimes they get the audited report of the plant or the company. There are some expenses there, budgetary allocations there, that the people who are working in that place don't know anything about. The money budgeted for whatever has been padded by somebody somewhere, and it's supposed to be part of the $8 billion. Whereas the people who are there know that it's not up to $8 billion. Okay, having said that, fantastic infrastructure they have there is a big town of 68 kilometers of rail track. Underground, 27 kilometers tunnel underground in Ajokuta to move facilities up and down. The project has capacity to produce 10 million metric tons, 43 different plants because it is an integrated plant. Audits were carried out in 2010 and 2018. And you know the verdict. Surprisingly, the verdict is that the plant is still functional and still used. It has been touted to be 98% completed for the past 2 decades. The engineers on the ground, don't be deceived, many of them are very, very patriotic. And they've been there doing what they tell me is preservative maintenance, preserving sections of the plant for one day that government will actually decide to put in money and complete it. So, touted to be 98% completed, but has still not been able to produce steel. Okay, if this had happened, it would have been a game changer for Nigeria to engage in serious industrialization. What are we doing? In Nigeria, it is documented that we are producing only about 2.5 million tons per annum from small producers because we have mini steel. Mini steel is scattered all over the country, and which is not enough to satisfy the Nigerian market. And of course, the per capita consumption of steel of only 10 kg. We have about 22 in the more now mini steels in Nigeria producing different steel products around the country. So cumulatively, they produce about 2.5 million tons of steel. Okay. Very important as part of Ajokuta, I mentioned that. What am I saying here? Yes, it is possible to rehabilitate and replace deteriorated parts, machines, and facilities necessary to get the project technically functional. There is a captive power plant at Ajokuta that has a capacity of 110 megawatts. And on its own, if it is overhauled, it can actually produce electricity, which can be used at Ajokuta and also feed the national grid. If Ajokuta is not in production. If Ajokuta is in production, it will consume all the energy and still take more from the national grid. Okay, okay, so that's it. While the Ajokuta plant is here to produce steel from start to finish, it is able to produce minor mechanical and industrial parts from companies on request. So companies can make requests to Ajokuta and they can produce various machinery for them. This is the captive power plant at Ajokuta. Very impressive structure. These are some of the products from Ajokuta that, when companies request for it and they pay for it, they can do all this for them. They use for their industries for whatever it is they are doing. So, the state of Ajokuta project. So the belief by stakeholders is that with the necessary political will, I don't like that word myself, political will, but I'm forced to recognize it. Yeah. You know, in Nigeria, we're always talking about political will, and at the end of the day, we never seem to find this will. But they are saying that the necessary political will, based on practical assessments of the state of the plant, as has been attempted in 2010 and 2018, it is possible to redeem sections of the plant in a manner that generates resources to offset the running costs pending the production of steel proper. Okay? We note that the reluctance of the federal government of Nigeria to completely disengage from this project is due to the enormous resources already invested, and so I have talked about this. So funding, rehabilitation, and overhauling of some of the components. They talk about the control systems here. You need to rehabilitate the control system of Ajaokuta. That if you do that, and then we're able to import coking coal and add it to our local coal, it is possible that we can get good enough coal to be able to use in the prosperous. And so it is doable. That is what our engineers believe. So the remaining amount, they say it is made about $1.4 to $2 billion to complete Ajaokuta. And this money, unfortunately, like I hinted, still goes to infrastructure to enable the raw materials to get there. So that's where we are. And some of you who have been monitoring this project know that even the present government wants to do something about it. Yes, they want to do something about it. In the past 1 month or 2 days, they talked about what they will do to vitalize Ajaokuta and steel. Okay, lessons from other countries. We've discussed that tangentially. What am I saying here? From my experience studying this subsector, industrialization, relevant technologies cannot simply be transferred. So this word we bandy around, technology transfer. Just forget it. If you are not prepared for the transfer, you will not get the transfer. You have to be prepared to receive the transfer. Even if it's transferred to you and you don't have the requisite architecture to absorb the transfer, it's not going to do you anything. Okay? So cannot simply be transferred, they have to be acquired. You need to acquire it. You need to innovate. You need to acquire and develop through the development of indigenous, broad-based scientific and technological infrastructure, of which the iron and steel industry is very crucial. Examples abide. China, leading in R&D, largest steel producing country. Brazil, Sao Paulo is one of the leading countries in research output in the world. India, funny enough, the Indian steel industries are scattered all over the world and constitute about 65% of world steel production of the world steel industry, even though they are in different parts of the world. India, North Korea, dissident country, it is feared and respected for its advances in metal and missile technology because it has its own rival iron and steel infrastructure. The same thing with Iran. So for countries in Africa having iron and steel, many people don't want you to have it. They want you to keep importing from wherever you are importing. Because they don't want you to have the capacity to be able to produce further goods. Iron and steel industry enables you to produce further goods and enhance your industrialization. They want you to come always to beg them and be begging them. Okay. Look at what you can do with the iron and steel. I don't need to belabor that. For those military hardware, rockets, bombs, tanks, heavy and light bombs, warplanes, frigates, agricultural equipment, tractors, harvesters. So how do you industrialize if you don't have capacity to produce all this? In the steel industry, it's state they engage in partnership, of course. You can engage in partnership with the private sector, both local and foreign, to develop the sector. This approach has education, technically, economically, and socially for the backward and forward linkages embodied in domestic and foreign policy requirements. Different models that you can use to do this is the market and interpretive models, of which I have captured with some examples here on the board. We've tried many companies, some of you may be familiar with that, to partner with Nigeria to be able to rehabilitate Ajaokuta and get it moving. So Gas Energy of the United States in 2003, Ispat Industries of India, which I've discussed with you, under the Metal Group. It's not only them, even Kobe Steel of Japan have come here too, they failed. Kobe Steel came and failed. The Chinese, we are in talks with the Chinese last year or 2 years ago. It didn't also work. And as I speak, We are back in talks with the Russians. We're back in talks with the Russians. So the original people who built Agbu catch to respond. They appear again to review the project again because the government appears to be serious to do something about the project. So let's hope that this time around something more tangible is done. I hope it is not political. I hope it is not political. For some engineers to be seeing something on the auditing that they don't know anything about and it's coming from somewhere that nobody knows what. Because every government that has come in says something about and the money disappears somewhere. Okay? So let's hope that this time around it will not be the case. So where was I? So what really is the problem with this industry? This is the theoretical part of it that helps us to understand the whole architecture, the character of the Nigerian state and its political economy, the nature of the dominant elite, which do not allow things to work. You know that corruption thrives. Corruption thrives where things don't work. Corruption thrives where things don't work. That's why the Agbu is when everybody is on the line, they want to scatter the line so that you can start to trick them. So that is what corruption does. So the character of the Nigerian state is political economy which do not allow things as they should be, or what we call it sometimes in Nigerian culture. That's part of our problem. Manifesting in mismanagement, corruption, myopia. Myopia is not being long-sighted. You are short-sighted. You think of your stomach. You're not thinking of everybody. Very selfish. Unfortunately, I hate to say many Africans and Nigerians are extremely selfish. They never think in terms of the general way, the general group is always me and my family. And they allow things to go bad. Okay? But again, political practices at high and low levels did not allow many of the partnerships to work in spite of the optimism and patriotism of some of the Nigerian engineers. Domestic imperatives in terms of the management, again, industrialization for me is impossible without manufacturing, and manufacturing is impossible without skill, and having skill is impossible without access to raw materials and good management. That is also what I have seen. So management of the domestic environment is therefore very important in the development of the steel industry. What do we do to the domestic environment? We need to be able to garner the political will to subjugate the primordial forces. We have political science, we like to use that word primordial. Pedestrian forces. Forces that don't look into the future. That are so myopic, they actually live in the past, not in the present, not to talk of the future. So primordial forces and ensure that the steel industry is supported by international best practices. Nigeria needs to ensure that other domestic imperatives like, oh my God, there we are, low intensity conflicts all over the country. Insurgency, banditry. These keep investors away. How can you turn your economy around and everywhere you turn is insecurity? And you say that you have a state. I'm in the humanities. When I come to this part, my mind goes to what we call the social contract. The social contract theory. The state is there to do something for you, and you are there to do something to the state. Is that not true? The state is there to provide security for you and welfare. Why is that so? Because it has what? It has what? It has control of the coercive elements to maintain security. And then you are supposed to do what to the state? Pay allegiance to the state and pay your taxes, etc., etc. Where the state is unable to do that, what happens? Is that the state? I'm even being diplomatic by just calling it a dysfunctional state. Because some people will say it's a failed state. Some people will say it's a failing state. I don't know whichever one it is, but I just use the word dysfunctional because it is dysfunctional. We shouldn't be sleeping. That's my adage I said before. It's very instructive. That our society is in chaos and we cannot afford the pleasure of normal sleep. We shouldn't be sleeping. Okay, banditry, insurgency. You know, it worries me. I have to check this to be sure. Military guys, maybe it's a bit more now. I don't know if they have recruited more personnel. 230 active military personnel. So to have Nigeria set to have one of the largest uniformed combat services in Africa, rated 35th globally, fourth most powerful in Africa, according to Global Firepower. Yet, our country is plagued by insecurity. Give and take about 200,000 policemen. Add the paramilitary services, and we are still here. So what's the problem? What's the problem? I know the problem, but you know the problem. There's something wrong. There is something wrong with the substructure. That is why people talk about restructuring of the state. That's why I talk about the character of the Nigerian state. There is something wrong that needs to give, that needs to change. You can't make progress unless something is changed. A country of over 200 million people, 36 states, with all kinds of security challenges, and you want to manage it from a federal police that does not know where the bushes are in your state. That is why part of the restructuring is not just economic restructuring, it is political restructuring and other dimensions of restructuring. States need to have their own local police to govern their areas, govern the ungoverned spaces in those areas, and then let you see where the criminals will hide and come out from. You leave it to simmer, and then it blows open, and before you know it, you have a full-blown insurgency in your hand. And then you begin to deploy federal resources to go and handle it. When you saw it happening, and you were not able to do anything, because of the structure that you have. We should tell ourselves the truth. That's part of waking up from the sleep. State police, we don't like it, but it's imperative for Nigeria. Why don't we like it? Like some people have pointed out, it's because some people believe that the politicians will misuse it. Isn't it? And then I ask the question, haven't we suffered enough? Haven't we suffered enough in the hands of insecurity to attempt something different? That's how we leave it at that. Yeah, with federal system, if you're a federal system, there's nothing wrong in decentralizing your police job and decentralizing your local government administration and decentralizing. That's how federalism works. It's made up of components. The components make up the whole. But the important thing about federalism is that we allow the components to have a freedom, some freedom, administrative freedom and political freedom to do their own thing, and then they feed it to the center and they have a stronger nation. That's federalism. Not when you want to hold everything for the center and it's busting from the seams. Have I passed here? Okay, so I'm still here. Ladies and gentlemen, please just glance at this. I'll move quickly over this. It is said that we imported about $3.3 billion of processed steel associated derivations in 2013. So we are importing more because we cannot produce enough for our market. Managerial capacity is very important. And here I say that Nigeria is neither attractive for what I've said in the previous slide, considering the domestic imperatives, nor competitive globally, and that Nigeria needs to recalibrate our development strategy. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please note that relations between states still revolve overwhelmingly around power and the use of power. Technologically advanced countries seek to maintain their positions as world leaders. Increasingly, the modern production system rely on minerals and natural resources. So what you have today is what we call the new scramble. The new scramble for, we actually call it the new scramble for Africa. You know, we had the old scramble. Can you cast your mind back to the old scramble? The old scramble was characterized by what and what? It was characterized by what? It was characterized by slavery. They scrambled in Africa for slave, for us, taking us to the New World, taking us to Europe, taking us to their plantations in America. That's why I have black people all over the place, including South America. They scrambled for Africa. They balkanized Africa. 1884, what happened in 1884 in Berlin? That was a scramble. Now, in the modern times, they are scrambling for the natural resources in Africa to feed their own industrialization, not yours. So we know the countries that are in Africa. We know the countries that want to come into Africa to access those resources. We know some of the rebellion from our French-speaking brothers against France. It's because of those resources. We saw what actually they took 2 or 3 days ago. So there's a big struggle for Africa to feed their own industrialization. So what do? So the real path open to developing countries seeking technologies to purchase. You can buy from them if you have money, you can innovate on your own, or you can still source knowledge or technologies as are necessary for their strategic, economic, and industrial growth. Even industrial espionage is allowed. State assistance in accessing funding for research globally is also another way. You know, the state, if the state knows what it's doing, it can assist its citizens to be able to access funding that they can use to do research globally. Many states do that, many countries do that. Salvaging the Agbu project. I've mentioned you may need this to complete it. Our good president, ex-president Mohammed, he refused to disburse $1 billion, which they requested from Nigerian Power Service to be used to complete the Agbu project during his time in 2019, and for good reason. Maybe he had his own reasons. So the present government has hinted at resuscitating the project. It has constituted a five-man committee, while the government is now in touch with the original contractors that promised export. So we hope something good comes out of that. So my position in a way is that considering the huge public investment so far made on this project, it's important that the project be properly evaluated unless government is satisfied with the evaluation done so far, and re-strategize the sections of it being functional, especially the shops and the mills, depending when they can actually produce it on its own strength. So rehabilitation of the shops requires funding, and so this is very important. Funny enough, you know that we still have about 2,000 members of staff at Agbu, even though it is not producing. You can verify what I'm saying. Yes, engineers, administrative personnel. And not be deceived though, some of them are quite patriotic about the project, and it's almost as if their life is tied to that project and protecting that particular project. So, like I mentioned before, they say they're engaging in conservative maintenance or something. So they keep some of the sections, some of the areas running in a way that when we really want to put in money and activate it, it will not be so. Even I want to believe that the Russians are around. I want to believe that the Russians are around. And they are taking a second look at what is going on to see whether those things, what they can do to get it running. Okay, and so they are there, and of course, they're paying their salaries. Okay, in concluding, I have a long conclusion, so maybe we just help you read through it so that I don't have to go through it. What am I saying here? Based on my experience in this field, I'm saying that science, technology, and international relations should be recognized as an independent sub-discipline similar to the recognition which we are giving to political economy, which is firmly established, has been firmly established within the discipline of international relations. And then Nigeria is presently challenged by lack of streamlined institutional framework that can enhance vision of human intellectual capability, technology, acquisition, and development, etc. We note also that there is a gradual decrease in interest of Nigerians going to higher institutions to study engineering and technological sciences. Yes, many prospective students now prefer business and even the humanities. That's very problematic. Nigeria has been heavily dependent on foreign technology, and the trend is growing. At present, there is little conscious effort, both at policy and strategic levels, to use foreign technology as a basis to build local capacity. It's been a long journey for us in the development, as you can see. For the future, so trying to point the way forward, I want to believe, Vice Chancellor mentioned that. Point the way forward, research of this subject matter should focus on how technological changes can influence developments of global rules and regulations. Technological innovation. Technological changes will affect the way countries will discuss, relate with each other on international platforms to do what? To produce global rules and regulations. Just like the issue of drone technology, some drone technology. Should countries be allowed to use it indiscriminately, just like cluster ammunition? When you drop a bomb, it scatters all over the place, clean everything. What do we do with respect to global rules and regulations to control destructive technologies? You know, technology has two faces. It's like a sword. It has its good side, which you can use, like telemedicine, etc. It has its bad side, like destructive technologies, nuclear weapons, drones, where you can just, you're sitting here and you're targeted and you pick you out. And it's being used in warfare today. You know? So techno internationalism therefore is therefore a concept that can help us understand the dimensions of technology in its manifestations in the global environment. This linkage is still emerging and will become even more important in the near future, especially in its application to the management of destructive military weapons that have their consequences for the human race. Future research in the steel industry is also headed for decarbonization. You know, today there's a whole lot of emphasis on the environment and sustainability. So iron and steel produces a lot of environmental hazards. It's polluting, very polluting. So they want to go toward decarbonization technologies to reduce the negative impact of steel production on the environment. You know what steel can do to the environment. Okay, recommendations. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for bearing with me. It's a subject matter I'm very passionate about, and I really want to convey what I've done to you so that you can also understand where I'm coming from. Okay, in recommending therefore, the Nigerian government should create appropriate policies and develop necessary infrastructure to enable this sector to satisfy the huge local demand and compete favorably in the international market by providing general security and investing in the sector. The government should also engage the new owners of the government to prioritize steel plants and rolling mills that are still moribund with a view to reviving them. Foreign investors should be encouraged to come into the sector through the implementation of the existing incentives that are there already. Capacity building in the steel industry should be encouraged in technical and vocational schools through institutional collaboration. There is a logical link, therefore, between education, science, technology, and development, including weapons development. The government should establish an intervention fund for the steel industry and encourage backward integration. The operators who produce steel through scrap melting should backwardly integrate their production through the establishment of modular direct use plants. No one country or group of countries willingly give or divulge technological information that took immense resources, sacrifices, and effort to develop. They did not sleep while many were sleeping. If you desire technology, you have to either innovate it, acquire it, purchase it, or you steal it. The Nigerian state should do the same. Technology acquisition in general and for military uses in particular require discipline and long-term planning. The organization of science and technology development requires a whole lot of discipline. And if you look very carefully, you see that it is only disciplined societies that can be able to attain high levels in iron and steel development and industrial. The organization of science and technology infrastructure, therefore, is imperative for the development of the society, just like the organization of military institutions is fundamental to the development of military technology. This requires discipline, as I've said, and political will, rather than quantification about the need for industrialization. In the short term, the educational project should be properly evaluated, like I said, and re-strategize sections of it modified. So please note very carefully here, because of the huge amount of money that has been spent on plastic, why don't you just scrap the project? Sell it off to whoever has capacity to buy, so that we can be free and then we can go and establish a new one. That is one position. But people who are technically and technologically savvy about the project say no, your second alternative is better. That what we can do is that we can modify. So there are sections of the project, like I mentioned to you, the control system and the raw materials input that you can do something about. You can modify it and make it functional and put in the required amount of money, between $1.4 billion to $2 billion, they will get that project working. So that is the position of many of the technicians there. The federal government is enjoined to provide the required funding for the completion of this plan to ensure that the remaining infrastructure outlay is completed to enable the importation and the movement of relevant raw materials without which production cannot be sustained. Ensuring an attractive domestic environment for both local and foreign investors, devoid of conflicts and corruption through strategic political and economic diplomacy is fundamental to growing this sector and therefore achieving national development. And finally, the federal government of Nigeria and various stakeholders need to appreciate the ramifications of the backward and the forward linkages that are inherent in steel development in our policies, embodied in the domestic and foreign imperatives that are necessary to develop a viable iron and steel industry. So these are my recommendations, and I think I've got to the end of my presentation, and I wish to thank you very much for your time.
Very much, very warm audience, and it is my pleasure to invite the microphone the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Information Technology Research and Innovation, Osita, for his closing remarks.
Thank you very much. I know it's really a very heavy day. Busy month. The registrar, the bossa, and I must also recognize the chancellor, the committee, and most important, the lecturer. Your lecture is really very engaging and provoking. And I must confess to you, I've taken huge notes, and I've captured almost 96 keywords from your lecture. It's quite engaging, and the topic is similar to what I'm doing, ICT and international development. And I'm privileged to say this. During the last 3 months, I visited 12 European countries, and I did a desktop research of about 9 African countries about AI. I think we lost the steel industry, and as Prof said in his lecture, industrial revolution. Before industrial revolution, we have other revolutions. We have the cognitive revolution, which we lost already. We are trying to catch up. We have the agile revolution, which he mentioned this. We were unable to break through in agile revolution because we don't have skill. Our family is one man shoe. And I must say this, within the last few weeks, something happened in this university, and we look at food security. Nigeria produced only 33,000 metric tons of wheat. Only 33,000 metric tons of wheat. Ethiopia, about 4 million metric tons. Egypt, about 8 million. Ukraine, even though they are going to war, they are producing about 24 million metric tons of wheat. So it's a big issue I think we need to take very serious. Prof mentioned something very serious, dominant elite. I think it's something that we have to take really very serious. And he mentioned scrambling. I think we are scrambling already. He mentioned China. I look at the ranking he shared. China took about 50% of the global steel production and consumption. It's a big number. If you look at other indicators, learning poverty, most important. I think that's an area most of us work. Globally, 2% of youngsters that are going to school are not learning the required skills for the future. I think Prof mentioned that skill development for the backward integration. Nigeria, 92% of our children that are going to school are not learning the skills of the future. It's a big issue. He mentioned industrial revolution 5.0. We are at the stage of industry 5.0 now. Industry 5.0 is no longer what he mentioned, steam engine, electrical revolution, telecommunication, computer revolution is an AI revolution. You can't industrialize if you don't have a skill. You can't leverage digital economy if you don't have data. We have data. Where is our ranking in the data? So I think Prof lecture is very prescriptive. Apply it practically almost every discipline. And I think I must also confess that the importance of this type of engagement is not just talk and do. It's to begin to incorporate things we have seen into our research. This university is very open, and from what we see from Prof, it's not a one-side research, it's a multidisciplinary research. I think not only in international relations, not only in marketing, almost all of us can take something going for the research. And the insight shared today by Prof remind us the critical role of academic research in forming policy and guiding decisions. Unfortunately, we don't have a media well covered by people. This type of things should have been live in the national television. But at this university, as Prof mentioned, under the leadership of our VC and the support of the Professor Law, we are instead of supporting our colleagues to really move beyond the usual innovation as Prof mentioned. We need to go into disruptive technology and disruptive innovation. I think that's the way to go. The usual research, the usual tools, we cannot go to everyone. Countries are already moving forward. We're not talking about mentally or talking about things that are really happening or not happening. We need to go beyond the usual. And I'm very happy with what Prof said in his lecture. There is a lot of things we can take away to really be proud of our own country. Not only the skill ranking, some of our colleagues here are doing something around other metrics and ranking. We are not really ranking anywhere in any ranking. I've never seen any ranking that we're really doing well. In terms of innovation index, in terms of human capital index, in terms of name it, we're not there. So it's important we begin to do things in what. In conclusion, I'm not going to really go beyond the fact that I was given. It's important we take research and innovation in focus. And I've said this beyond just the skill. As Prof mentioned, there is a lot of new technologies. Recently, I watched a documentary from Uzbekistan. They had a policy which is also backward. They use Chevrolet. And most of the cars are developed within the country. And this is disruptive innovation as a corporation. If you want to buy another car, you have to pay extra. But if you want to buy Chevrolet, it's done in our own country and everything is good. And I think beyond sentiment, beyond emotions, we have to take this account really, really very serious. So thank you very much, Prof, for this very, very informative. Thank you very much, colleague, for putting up the time. I think it's very important. Thank you.
Very many times, get questions about IT research and innovation. Mr. Kayan, PhD. Now, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are now at the very end. It's my pleasure to bring to the microphone Professor Peter Ogidegbe, the lecturer who delivers the second inaugural lecture to move the root of tax. Professor Ogidegbe, please. Round of applause for him.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. We give thanks to God for this day that He has made that we should be here. But thank God for the opportunity the Master has given unto our current to give the knowledge. And I want to thank everybody that has made it possible for us to be around. First and foremost, we need to thank the Chancellor of this great university because without the enablement, it would have been difficult for us to organize another lecture. So I'm sure people that is busy love to be here today. I want to thank the Vice Chancellor, the Vice Chancellors, the Deans, principal officers that are here today. And more importantly, also, we have some important visitors that came to grace this occasion. We have the representative of the Dean of Onitsha. That's Agbu Isama of Onitsha, who is here to represent the. Then we have the Onitsha Improvement Union representative is also here today. Then we have the representative of the DG of the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs, Professor Agbu. His representative is here. Some colleagues of Prof from the St. Province College, Lagos. Appreciate your coming today. We thank God for joining us for those of you traveling from different directions. And And I'm sure we've learned a lot of lessons from the lectures he has given today. I'm sure the message will go around that we need to take whatever we are involved with. I mean, this country should not be seen as a failed nation. We all have a role to play to ensure that our nation succeeds in the industrial revolution. And like I mentioned in my lecture, that it is possible that all of us, we should all be partakers in the movement of this country. We should not leave it for a few people to do. And above all, we need to pray for this nation. I know people have been praying, but we need to do more. Thank you so much.
Allow the possession exits the door in reverse order. Most candidates remain where you are until the possession ends, please. And secondly, for our distinguished guests, refreshment will be served on your way out at the door. And for members of the University Senate, please assemble in the designated hall in Block A, please, for a further item. And it's a very important one. Thank you. All right, please together, please, can you lead the procession in reverse order? I beg my apologies, please, Prof. And we want to honor our nation by standing up while the national anthem is sung for us. Thank you. National anthem, Nigeria will hail thee.
Our flag shall be our symbol, that truth and justice reign. Peace on our honor, and this becomes thanksgiving. Ride on through our children, of banner in our state. Oh God, oh creation, and this our wandering way. Help us to build our nation where no man is oppressed. And so with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed.
And the praise anthem is ready while we're still standing, ladies and gentlemen. Miss Guerra, can you advance to this one, please? This is University anthem. Ms. Blair Lees, Vice Chancellor, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Registrar, Special Advisor to the Chancellor, BOSA, third inaugural lecturer, professors, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, professors, deans, directors, legendary scholars, researchers, heads of departments, heads of units, first inaugural lecturer, Aja, carefully selected university staff, graduated from different universities across the world, distinguished thinkers in their own rights. Professor, Business Administration, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your cooperation. God bless you and thank you for coming. See you next time.
Assalamu alaikum. What is that?